On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
We've got all kinds of crazy new stuff. We've got the myllc.com/second shot where you can get $99 off on our brand new sponsor of the show. We also have, drumroll please.
That was so good.
That was good
That
drum
was
roll.
so good. What a band
Guess
we have
what? We've
here.
got Jenny, Zach, and Matt in the studio.
Hey!
But
Yeah.
what else?
So, something you've been working on for a long time.
Yes.
Finally going to come out. We've been teasing it. I want you to explain it. Tell them what all's coming next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, weeks,
Or
months
the 15th, I guess,
of work
in case
in
somebody's
the,
not listening to
Oh,
it.
yes. So October 15th, a special edition of Second Shot is coming out called Second Shot Sit-Downs. The idea with this is that we go deep with some people who have been given a second shot. So here we are. We're in almost into the last 2 months of the year, you guys. I know that in January, you set goals for yourself. You laid it out, and I know that you're rocking it. And if you're not, you have some time to make it happen. So I pooled all of our resources to find the most inspirational people with the best messages, the best take-home tactical advice to give to you. And we're doing 30-minute sit-down interviews with these people who have overcome remarkable obstacles and really have strong, poignant messages to give. We thought about bringing these people in for our Second Shot thing, but this is working really well. You guys seem to be liking it. So we figured let's add a second episode for a week. They're going to go for 8 weeks, leading us to the end of 2019 to kind of kick off 2020.
This will be kind of a short series, a Second Shot sit-downs. We're going to have 8 of them for the next 8 weeks. They'll come out every Tuesday. Make sure you're subscribed so it pops up. It'll be Jenny interviewing different guests for Second Shot, which is super cool because we, like you said, we've tried to bring them in on this, guest in on this, and we never really get
it's hard
to spend much time with them or any of that. So this is going to be a lot more in depth of it, which will be super exciting.
And we looked at people who we're connected with, and we know that they have great stories. And I mean, I come from this background in news where I've been interviewing wonderful people, but it's for like 3 minutes, you know, and how, in 3 minutes, it's hard to really hear somebody's story and hear the heart of it and hear the why and the how. And that's what Second Shot Sit-Downs is about. So it's like our Christmas gift to you as we get to the end of the year, to kind of pour into you, give you this content, find, like I said, the best people that we know of to inspire you and just kill it at the end of the year. So October 15th, it's going to drop in the morning, 9 in the morning. Woo! And then, so we'll have an episode coming out for the last couple months of the year on Tuesdays and on Fridays.
And at the end of the 8 of them, if everybody likes them, who knows? May do another short series, right, Zach?
But Jenny and Heath, is this going to replace our Friday Second Shot episodes?
Thank you for asking, Zach. No,
Wait,
it
there's
is not.
more.
Zach, you are not fired from this volunteer job. You will
Huzzah.
stay. Matt will stay. And Matt's actually there for producing for Second Shot Sit-Downs.
I am. You're getting 50% of Second Shot on this.
Yeah.
Yes, we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So very cool. We're excited about it. And now we'll get into our regular
Our regular
programming.
one will come out every Friday like normal.
Yes.
But for the next 8 weeks, for a special 8-part series of Tuesday Second Shot Sit-Downs with Jenny will come out, which we're super excited about.
And
I'm
I do want
so
to point out that it's going to drop in the same feed. So if you're already subscribed to Second
Thank
Shot,
you.
you're going to get it. It's going to be there. You don't have to go look elsewhere for it. If you're not subscribed to Second Shot, I don't know what you're doing. Go do that now, and you'll see the new episodes. You don't have to go look for it elsewhere. It'll just show up on your podcast player. Or if you are in the Second Shot group or follow Jenny on Facebook, you will see the video version pop up as well. So
That's
just
true,
watch
though. But the video versions it's kind of random when they come out. The only way to for sure get it is to subscribe on iTunes or another podcast platform. Okay, what's our first article?
Well, maybe. Okay, sorry. Maybe while Jenny and Matt are doing their cool Second Shot interview series, Heath and I will figure out some sick, fast-paced Second Shot podcast series. All right, our first headline: school bus driver mows grass at stop so his students don't have to stand in the weeds. Recently, a Central Texas school bus driver caught the local news' eye for going above and beyond to care for the children he encounters. This was in Copperas Cove, I think that's how you say it. As driver Jerry Martin noticed the grass at one of his bus stops was growing real high, and kids were trying to stand in it and play hide and seek in it, and it was a whole thing. They weren't actually playing hide and seek, but he wanted it to be maintained, and it was in a yard of a house that was derelict. Nobody was living there, so the yard wasn't being watched. So one day after school, when nobody was paying attention, nobody was looking, there was no reward, he busted out a lawnmower, he drove down there, he mowed the spot, and you're on your way. And the local news figured it out, and now it's gone viral. It's big, this whole thing. Three cheers for Mr. Martin, the school district wrote on Facebook.
Jenny, how does the news find that out?
It's a good question.
Because usually, that's a good question. Usually what would happen is somebody probably saw something about it or heard about it and said, you got to hear about our guy. We've got a guy who came and mowed the lawn. And then a reporter who was actually keen on what makes a story. Yeah. Because a lot of reporters would hear that and say, well, that's not really a story. But this reporter was on it because if you ask me, this is totally a story. Heard that and then did the really tough job, which is convincing the rest of the newsroom that it's a story.
Real good sales pitch.
Yeah. So they have to go in and do a pitch and explain why this is going to go viral and why everybody is going to want to hear about it. But
it's
usually
going to end up on Second Shot one day.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Second Shot did. We were on MSN.com.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. For an old episode.
We never talked about that. Yeah. Well, we should talk about that soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, just really quickly, one of our second shooters, one of our listeners, wrote in and said, hey, you guys you were mentioned in this article on MSN.com. So cool, thanks for the shout out. Spread the word about Second Shot.
Yeah.
So whenever I was looking at this and I thought about my second shot, it hit me really good was that how many times in life do all of us sit there and look at a problem or an issue, but man, somebody should fix that. Mm-hmm. Somebody should get this done, right? Like how many times... do we sit around and go, man, they should do this or they should do that, etc. We keep talking about what others should or shouldn't do when we could just go grab our lawnmower and mow it ourselves. Like that guy could have sat there and just kept griping about it and knowing and realizing, he obviously realized that was going to be a hazard of some sort and just went and took care of it for himself and just handled it. Like how many times do we sit around when we could just go handle it? Like we could be the one, a lot of people talking about, oh man, they got lucky when they made that product and they made it big in that career, right? When we didn't realize that all of us have had those times that we find that the way these entrepreneurs and stuff that hit it big with these issues is it's nothing more than everyday issues that we all have. They just made a decision to act on it and fix the problem. And it ended up being big for them. So when we say they're lucky, they're not lucky. They just did what we wouldn't do. Every one of us sitting here can name things that irritate us over and over, but yet we do nothing about it. The people who strike it rich are the ones that actually do something about it. So,
or even just the people who have peace in their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and people have ability. Like this, in this case, for this bus driver, right? Like he was on the bus. He didn't have to stand at the stop. He never had to get out and deal with the grass. That was the kids. This was his concern, but it wasn't his problem. But he had the ability to do something about it.
I like that. Say that again.
It's your concern, but it's not your problem, right? There's a difference. And but for him, he wanted to do the right thing. He obviously had the time, and he had the lawnmower, and he had the truck to drive over there and fix it. And it reminds me of that thing, I told Jenny about this a while ago, and it's a hokey line, but it's something my mom used to say. She said, character is what you do when nobody's looking and there's no reward.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think that's hokey at all. I think that's solid.
Well, it's because it's from my mom, I feel like it's, but and I've heard variations of it before, but, that's what this is. Like, this is somebody who knew that, like, nobody is going to care about this grass in the yard. The kids probably don't even mind it that much. They could stand on the curb. It's just this little thing. It's giving back to the world in some way that's selfless and somehow meaningful. And And that means a lot. And I think that's why this gets picked up by people like this. This is why it gets shared on Facebook, because it matters.
Yeah. I think about the times when I've been, I'll speak for myself, when I've been faced with things like this, like a neighbor's grass is growing too high, or maybe they're out of town or something like that, and the thought passes through your head, maybe I should help them out, or maybe I should do that. Or even in a case like this where like there's seemingly no one home, and you do it, and I think of all the reasons why he could have decided not to, right? Like, maybe somebody owns that property and I shouldn't mess with their property, or
there's always a lot of reasons that you come up with excuses of not to do it.
Right, yeah, or I don't have time, or I don't think lazy is necessarily the one, but or maybe no one's going to notice and no one's going to care, but I think he looked at all those things and said the outcome is better than anything that negative might. Somebody might come up and say, hey, what are you doing mowing my grass? But you know what? He's going to say, hey, I saw a problem. I needed to fix it. Sorry. We'll deal with it next time. He didn't let any of that stuff stop it.
Yeah.
Have any of you, can y'all think about any times of anything that you look back on and go, man, like, y'all had this idea because something wasn't irritating, now it's being done, or that you passed up on instead of making that move on it? Can you think of any of those, like times that you passed the bus stop, the school bus stop, and you never mowed the yard until somebody did?
In a business aspect as opposed to a kindness aspect?
Ooh, okay.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, Heath definitely has a good baby food idea. I'm not going to put it out there because who knows, we may just do it.
Okay. I like that.
That one does keep popping up in my head.
It does keep it. You guys, it's pretty good. It's pretty dang good. I think of, yes, there are. Well, way back in the day, I wanted to do petite clothing line for professional wear, because I was always spending all of this money hemming and getting things altered. And at the time, there was only Petite Sophisticate, which was this sort of like, I would buy stuff from there, but it was like I was 20 and it was made for women who were 50. Yeah. They ended up going out of business. So then I kind of took that as a sign that, well, maybe we don't need a petite clothing line. But that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah. I've got a friend that runs a little craft shop at local conventions. They have a little booth that they like take out and set down for the weekend. And they sell little crafts and things they make. And I always come up with little ideas. Oh, you should make this.
Yeah.
It'd do so great. You'd sell out the whole stand. You should make this thing. Look at this thing I found on the internet. And I always send over little ideas and they're always like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for.
But it's like, no, you should do it, Zach.
Right? Yeah, me with all these great ideas, I'm not doing anything about it. That's what makes me think.
You guys, bone broth. So I can almost guarantee you that all of your mothers made bone broth. They didn't call it bone broth. Mm-hmm. They just called it broth, and it was soup, and it was the cheap way to do things, which all of our parents were savvy on. So now bone broth is sold by the can for like $5.
It's a big deal
for this little thing of bone. And I think we've talked about this before, the fact that my mom went in to get bones and then they charged her for it because it's now like such a trendy thing. But a lot of the things that come to my mind are things that are very like vintage and Chondo family, like baking bread, and we made soap and we made candles. We were Amish. we made all these things, and now people do this. This is very like sort of boho to do these things that we just did to live. So I sometimes think, oh man, we could have totally made a business out of that. I made stationery. Man.
Wow. You know what? I think that a lot of times, there's so many of us that will sit around with a lot of these, and then we want to look at and point at others and be like, oh, they were lucky, they were this. But yet you've had all them too. They just acted on it.
Yeah.
And what I want to ask you is, what's stopping you from acting on your potential for greatness? What's stopping you from making that leap? And instead of it being somebody else's problem, making it your problem to fix. Stop waiting around for other people to fix issues and go make a stand and do it. Hey, I'm talking to myself too. Mm-hmm. But it's time to jump out there and go do that instead of waiting for somebody else to mow that bus stop when it's time for you to go out there and mow it yourself. We'll be back in a minute for the second segment of Second Shot.
He makes up words, she translates them. Heath and Jenny host more of Second Shot, coming up on RNCN.
Okay, you guys, we have been working on this partnership for a while. This is a company that we've used as a couple, we've used individually, and now they are on board as a sponsor. So we're giving a big shout out to myllc.com. you used them back in the day, right?
I've been
like
using
when
them,
you first got started in business.
I've been using them for 12, 13 years. It was the easiest thing in the world. If anybody's thought about setting up a company, paying big lawyer fees, they think it's a big, mountain of a task to take on. But with myllc.com, if you go on their website and you call them, if you're doing an S Corp, a C Corp, or anything, they're going to walk you through it. They won't make you feel dumb. And they're going to handle every process every year from now on from you, the stuff with the state and all of those things. So if you have any rental property outside of your own home, you need to have it in an LLC or an S Corp or something in order to protect you legally. If you're doing side hustles, you need to invoice them from the legal entity because it can protect you legally. In myllc.com/second shot, there's a coupon code 99 myllc, right?
Well, yeah, all you have to do is go to myllc.com/second shot and it'll give you $99 off, which is super generous. And this is kind of like a limited thing. So if you were thinking about it, again, you kind of started your side business, you're thinking about getting it going, or you've got a big business. I mean, they work with all sizes. It's $99 off. The other thing, if you're already on the site, you can use the coupon code 99myllc. Again, it's 99myllc from myllc.com. This is the company we've used for all of our different entities and projects. They've been so great to work with, and we're just excited to have them on as partners.
myllc.com/second shot. Go now. Run.
Ready, aim, fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
Okay, so I just about died laughing when I saw this meme. I'm gonna let you read this, Jenny.
Okay.
Is this not perfect or what? This meme is hilarious.
This is so my life. I see you have created a tiny human. I too have done this. Me trying to make mom friends. It's so true. I'm in a group called MOPS, and if you are a mother of a preschooler, that's what it stands for, mother of preschooler.
Aww.
That's what MOPS is about. It's we meet sort of during the school year. There's childcare for the kids, and it is a nice way to connect with moms because a lot of my friends are not moms. A lot of my friends are people who elected, a lot of my girlfriends are people who elected to not have children, who were not able to have children, who had, just different things going on in their life. So I don't actually have a ton of girlfriends with kids Brighton's age. So MOPS has allowed me to do that. And I do creepily approach people.
Are you just going to change the name of the group as the kids age up? Because they're not going to be
Mothers
preschoolers.
of high schoolers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should. I know. I'm a little bit sad about the fact that when she's 5, I won't be able to go to the group anymore. Maybe we will have a second child so I can keep going to MOPS.
Mops.
Would that be worth it?
The name MOPS is just...
I know. It's not ideal.
Yeah, that's a pretty epic name.
I'm sure you make some great connections there that long outlast the 5-year span or whatever that you can be a part of the group, right?
Yes, I think so.
You leave and they're like, cut us off your contacts list.
Right.
You're
Sorry,
done.
not a
You're no
preschool
longer-
anymore.
Yeah,
No mas.
You're out.
No mas.
Well, our second headline is something a lot of people feel guilty about. 73% of Americans, according to this article, feel guilty about this problem. Each American wastes 103 pounds of food a year, according to this study. A new study examining the food waste habits of 2,000 Americans found that, on average, Americans will throw out 4 spoiled items from their fridge every week. They'll go through about 103 pounds of spoiled food from their fridge every single year. That's about 6,000 pounds and change over your average adult lifetime. Pounds of food wasted. $102 worth of food in your fridge each time, and you're chucking out about $53 every time you do it. It's a whole thing, and there's a whole lot of stats here, but the point is people seem to be wasting food. Fruit gets wasted a lot, leafy greens, potatoes, meat. Things are going to waste. And this has been a thing forever, right? When I was a kid, just like when you guys were kids, our parents told us they're starving people in China or Africa or some other country our parents could point at and say, eat your food.
Even though our wasted food doesn't actually go to those
Yeah,
kids.
even though it doesn't actually go there.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this?
Well, it's true because people have the intention of, I'm going to start this new week and eat a bunch of fruits and veggies. So when they go grocery shopping on Sunday, they're like, this is it. This is the week that I become a vegan.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then they have a grilled cheese sandwich for every meal. And the veggies go to waste.
That sounds all right.
But when I thought about a second shot on this and how we can sort of take this headline and put out a lesson for our own lives, Heath is yawning so big right now, you guys.
He's going for
Stop.
it. Hey,
Stop making fun of me.
He's a parent, all right? He's exhausted. You take it easy on him.
Give me the floor. Husband yawns.
He's a fop.
That's right.
He's a what?
He's a
fops.
fop.
Like mops.
Father
Oh,
of
fops.
preschooler, yeah.
He has no group. Poor Heath.
I don't have a group.
Poor worry.
Somebody feel sorry for me
Dads
now.
just have to suck it up and you can get through it. I think about how we're wasting resources in our own lives, and what kind of piqued my interest on this or made me think about this was all the different, for example, online courses that we can enroll in now. Like, we're starting a business, I'm going to enroll in this course, and I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to go through these modules before starting and before launching. And it makes me think, do you need to pay the $59.95, or do you actually have it within yourself? Do you actually have your own resources? Or could your cousin help you, or your friend help you? Or did you learn about that a couple of years ago? Did you already buy a module last year that you didn't actually do, that you could go back to and look at before starting your business?
Well, there's a bunch of free stuff out there.
There's a ton of free stuff. There's a ton of free stuff. And I do really believe that a lot of these online trainings can be incredibly valuable.
But a lot of them are worthless.
But, I mean, I'm just saying, you might have the resources at your fingertips. I think so often we're looking for the next thing. Oh, I'm not gonna launch until I know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna, I couldn't possibly start doing this without this type of training or education. And in some fields that's true, but in some fields you have what you need right here. You have a Google search bar and a YouTube search bar, and you can figure it out.
But just like your friends and stuff, though, too. I saw on Facebook the other day, and I feel like I see this more and more, and I can't remember the exact question, but if somebody I know that was asking a question about, they said something about they've been looking for blah, blah, blah for 6 months, and they can't find it. Does anybody... And somebody wrote on there, which I know them, and this person were like best friends, back in the day, which I'm sure they're still friends. But, I mean, they were like really close, right? And like, this is what I do for a living, right? Like, oh my God, I forgot. Oh yes, I'll just call you. And it's like, that right there was a perfect example of how many times I feel like we almost think that the key is that thing we don't know yet. And we keep searching for this other person to tell us what to do, this other motivational seminar, this other thing of here and that. Like, we keep going to all of these because we keep thinking it's that next best thing that's going to connect with us, versus there's the old tried and true, and maybe people we already know that already have resources and know these things and can do them, that we need to just use our own resources at hand, like you said.
Use your own vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then eat Jenny's vegetables.
Come take my vegetables. I'll make you a veggie smoothie. Yeah, sometimes we have the resources at our fingertips, but we're using it like a little bit as an excuse to not do the things that we want to do, to not launch the product. Like, for example, with Heath starting this podcast, we've changed he's changed a lot. Then I joined, but we're constantly evolving and changing. And I think that if we waited to get the formula right, we never would have launched it. And we wouldn't have the thousands of people each week that are getting the content and that we're connecting with. Not everything's perfect, and we take the feedback and we rework. But we didn't do a bunch of podcast seminars. Yeah. we just started one.
Yeah. No, that's true. One. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so true. That's a perfect example.
And what I get out of this is exactly what you just said on the end there. You take the feedback and you rework, right? That's what frustrates me about this. I think that's why so many people feel guilty about this, because we've seen studies like this before. We've seen numbers like this before. This isn't the first time anybody's been like, wow, Americans waste a lot of food every year.
Well, but you feel it, right? I mean,
of course.
I feel it every
time.
In your
wallet,
that, like,
you feel it at the grocery store?
Yeah, we go through the fridge and we're throwing out old vegetables. I'm like, why did we do this?
Yep, I could have eaten
this,
but it happens
somewhere.
Every week. Yeah, and like, we never do anything about it. And it's not to say that, like, that's... What am I trying to get at here? I'm not saying that everybody is doing the wrong thing always when it comes to food in your fridge that's getting thrown away, but like there's no feedback loop that we're learning anything from.
Right.
You're not taking anything from that and doing anything about it. So you go to the grocery store and you think, this time will be different. This time I'll buy veggies and I'll use them but you won't.
Yeah.
And you should still buy veggies and you should still eat them, but like you should reflect on that when you're throwing away food and think to yourself, how can I do this differently next time?
So I'm going to give another analogy. When your feet are to the fire, when you launch the thing and have to figure it out, you do. Just as in, when all of a sudden, I didn't get any clients this week, I have no money, guess what you're going to eat? Whatever's in your fridge, your vegetables, your fruit. You're going to make some meal out of the bread in the freezer and the frozen pizza and the spinach down there that might be good or might not be, but that's what we have. And then you have a meal and you have success. You know what I mean?
Or you figure out something to make out of all of it.
That's what I'm saying. You create a beautiful meal. Like some of those most beautiful creative meals can come out of the days when you say, I've got no food. But it's the same thing when your feet are put to the fire with a project that you've been wanting to launch. Like when you say, like, for example, we told you this second shot sit down's coming out, and it is not going to be perfect. I've already thought about some ways I want to rework it. But I thought about, here was my true intention. I thought, you know what? Let's just launch this at the beginning of the year. Let's do it as a 2020 launch and delay
I wasn't
further.
Gonna let that happen.
And delay further because I've already delayed this, thinking I want to have the right guests and I want to have the right studio, the right audio. But the most important thing is that you guys hear that content.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, nope, wait, October 15th, nothing special about that day.
Now the Feast of the Fire's got to be done.
Yeah, Feast of the Fire, and so it's like I'm making a sandwich out of the spinach and the old bread.
Yeah. And I think like Ella said, like Heath said, I think a lot of people think that the thing that they need is the thing that they don't have yet. The thing that they need is at the store. Mm-hmm. When you may be looking at and nothing looks appetizing in the fridge, and maybe that banana's a little bruised, or that apple doesn't look so great, or the meat is one day past the best by date, and you're thinking, well, I can't use that. And it may not be perfect. It may not be exactly what you want or what you need right now, but it's gonna get the job done, and it's going to do what you need it to do. So yeah, look at those resources that you have available, and they may not fit you. If it's a training program, it may be for last year's software, but I bet there's a lot of stuff you can get out of that that will still help you, and then you can avoid having to pay for another one this year.
It's like, how many times, Heath, has my mom come over and we say, oh gosh, we haven't been to the store, we have no food. And an
all of a
hour
sudden,
later,
we got a whole meal made.
Really?
She whips up something totally gourmet. Yes, she's always talking about let's shop the freezer, let's shop the canned goods in the back.
Yeah,
and she always comes up with something phenomenal.
Yes, like shopping your closet. That's the same. It's kind of like the same thing. I got nothing to wear. I'm broke. I need an outfit. Shop your closet.
And I think you'll be amazed at times that when your feet are to the fire and you're put under that pressure, what you're actually able to accomplish. Like I think a lot of people, you don't have the faith in yourself that you should have, because there's something about, like, I promise you that if you knew what was going to happen after you jumped off to do whatever it is you're going to do, you may never do it. But once you jump off and do it, and then you look back and after you've accomplished it, you go, I don't know how I did that. Because you are not fully aware of what you're capable of till your feet are to the fire and until it's all on you to get it done. So I'm going to challenge you right now just to go jump out there, put your feet to the fire, put the deadline that's almost impossible to hit, and see what happens. I know, and everybody else does, that you can make that happen. Be back in a minute for the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Heath and Jenny still to come.
Okay, we wanted to take a quick minute to tell you guys about a company called Energy Ogre. So Heath and I have been using this company for years to save money on our electricity. We've told you guys about it for months and months and months too. So basically what they do is they shop around your electricity and then they find the lowest option and then they manage it. So you know how if you notice your rates are going up, you might call around. But who really does that? So they do that for you. The deal is that it costs $10 a month, and if they can't save you anything, then you get the $10 back. So for us, what we noticed is it cut our bill at least in half. So we're talking, we were upwards of $200, maybe a little more than $200 a month. Now we're down to $100. Yes, even in the blazing summers here in the Dallas area of Texas. So it's energyogre.com. So here's Ogre. It's OGRE. So ENERGYOGRE.com. And they actually give us a deal for Second Shot listeners. So if you would like to use it, the discount code is Second Shot. So you can try it for free and see how it works. Again, it's really not a risk, because if you get on there and they can't save you any money, then they don't charge you anything, and you'll get to try it out for free with the code Second Shot.
Oh, hell no. Nope, not happening. Nope, I know what that is. Whoa. Not happening. Not happening. Not happening.
No, Keith, it's happening.
No, it's not. It's not going to happen. There are snakes in there, guaranteed.
No, just one.
Is a what?
A snake. A big snake.
Right here.
You want me to get one out?
Hold on.
Get started, Matt, because I got to hurry up and say my piece and roll.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
Oh, No, this is not happening, Jenny. Jenny is. Oh my God, no, not. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. Like Jenny has done trying to throw surprises at us and brings in, and I noticed it. How good was that? I saw him walking in. How are you, Heath? The wildlife guy comes walking in with these stuff. Like, there's snakes in there, and I am not touching a snake.
You guys, okay. Heath, calm down. First of all,
no.
Second of all, I would like to introduce you and our audience to Eric Brittingham.
Hello, everybody out there.
From Wildlife on the Move. So I've interviewed Eric several times. I thought in the spirit of we've been doing this question of the week, I thought this week's question could be, what is your biggest fear? And I already know what one of Heath's is.
I'm not touching the snake. It's not happening.
Okay, we're going to get you over that little by little, I promise.
Eric, wonderful to meet you.
This
nice
is Zach.
to meet you, Zach. Yes, senior.
There's Matt in the back,
Matt.
too.
I'm not exactly privy to
Matt,
this.
This is Eric.
Matt, not fair that you're sitting back there.
I am protected by a pane of glass.
He's going to join him in there
So,
Yeah.
it's
He's gonna come
almost
through the window.
Halloween. I like to see Eric every year around this time of year to talk about the creepy crawlies and everything like that. So, I also just thought, because this is one of Heath's biggest fears, that he could bring some in. Eric, what did you bring?
Well, so I brought several creepy crawlies since it is that time of year, and we only fear what we don't understand. So Heath, I'm hoping I can break you over that by just getting you some comfortability while being around it and me telling you some facts about it. So we'll get you over that.
I understand it very clear. God has made a snake because they were evil whenever they did wrong, and so that's not meant for me to touch.
Well, he did punish them onto their bellies back then, but snakes are really good because God made them to take care of all those rodents and other things. So we need to have them to help control. And this beautiful one I brought today, his name is Boomerang.
I'm telling you, I'm not touching.
He's from Australia.
Okay.
He's a jungle carpet python. Come on, we got to give it a
happening.
shot.
It's not happening. Jenny can hold it.
Oh my gosh, he's huge. You guys.
Come on, Heath. I'm not going anywhere. Well, that's going to make for an interesting segment for sure, with Heath already out of the room.
So Heath has left the room.
All right.
Tell us about who you have here, Eric.
Yeah, so this is a jungle carpet python. His name is Boomerang. He comes from Australia. It's a very slender snake because he's a tree climber. Most of your pythons, actually are pretty big-bodied and very long. This guy only gets to be about 7 feet long. And he, like I said, climbs trees, does go after mice and rats, but also birds and bats.
You guys, Heath full-on ran out of the studio.
Well, he's at least at the door, he's not too far away. So we've got to get him to at least try to touch this so we can go little by little. It's not slimy, Heath. It's very smooth and dry.
Heath, you talk a lot about overcoming fears, and you've challenged me.
I'm just going to put him in my lap.
Understand something. There's no chance. There's no way that I am getting over there close to that snake.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
At the corner of the table, at least, because
not at all.
This is the thing. We only fear what we don't understand. So if we little by little try to work our mind through it, because we weren't born with the fear. It's things that maybe you experience. So is there something that has triggered this for you on snakes?
No, look at it. It's ugly as all get out. It's
Really?
slimy.
That's
wait a second.
This is a guest.
Now wait a second. That's kind of like what we talk about. Everybody's different. We all have different colors, different looks, different styles. Same thing with animals, right? Just because the way they move and the way they look doesn't mean that they're awful and ugly and bad and mean. It's just they get a reputation, and a lot of times it's experiences that we go through that kind of trigger this fear, right? So
I don't have a really single experience. It's just a snake.
It's
and that
just
thing
how it
does
moves?
Not look scary.
What about just touching the back of the
not
tail?
Happening. I'm not. No.
Okay. Well, do we want to move on to something else?
Yeah, I'll play with some other animals.
Okay. How about we move to something that a lot of people fear even more than this, and it can't even hurt you? What do you think? Well, I'm going to get it out. It actually comes from Madagascar.
Oh, that just gives me shit.
So, talking about creepy crawlies, I don't know if we can get these guys on camera.
Oh my gosh!
See, now Jenny's having a little freak out moment.
Whoa!
But there you go. How about a Madagascan hissing cockroach? Now, see, it evokes a lot of fear. But this guy right here, he can't even sting, he can't bite, he can't even fly.
Okay,
he actually just hisses by pushing air out of his spiracles.
Oh my gosh!
You okay, Jenny?
Okay, now I'm freaking out.
I'm going to go sit in Heath's chair.
All right, come on over here.
Yeah.
Oh, let me pick him back up.
Oh my gosh, there is a cockroach loose in the
Oh
studio.
no, he's not loose. He's back in my hand. But they are kind of jumpers, and
Wait,
you might
but
hear
what
him
about the
hissing a little
snake?
bit. I got him.
That snake's.
He's good.
Oh, I was going to say he's taking a trip.
I'm going to go ahead and put him up so I can work with the other animals at the same time.
Oh.
It's like juggling cats and chainsaws
my
in
gosh, Eric, this is hilarious. So I first met Eric when I worked at Fox 4, and he would come on and do these little, kind of creepy crawly segments before Halloween and throughout the year.
What do you think, Zach? You want to touch this?
Oh,
it's not slimy.
Not
it's
traditionally.
Yeah,
okay.
go for it. I've got magic soap with me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So smooth and dry. There's no slime.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
That's great.
And like I said, most people fear these guys more than the snakes or more than spiders. And this animal can't even hurt you. It doesn't sting, bite, or fly. They do hiss. I was trying to get it on.
It doesn't sting, bite, or fly.
No, not at all.
Oh my God.
This is just a big, big bug. And his name is...
Okay, I will touch him because this is a massive fear for me.
His name is Big Hissy Madudu, which means big bug in Swahili. There you go. See, this is what we do. Baby steps, Heath. You're at least in the
bug,
room.
That bug doesn't bother me at all.
That's what's interesting.
This
This is what I'm saying.
I don't care.
I mean, people freak out about snakes on one level, and then there's more people that freak out about this little bug that doesn't even bother you. But you're doing great with that. So come help me hold it.
So he put the snake up in the box. So I'm sitting.
You're good.
No,
but
I'm not
you want to
coming
come
over
hold
that
this?
close. No, we can put that one up.
All right.
Go to the next one too.
Well, let's move on to another one. So, are we having fun here? Is it going good?
Matt, are you glad that you're safely behind
I
the...
love everything about this, and I love that I'm in this room.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to.
Afterwards, Matt, we're
gonna
gonna put one around your neck so you can get a picture. We don't want you to be left out, right?
Okay.
Now we're moving on to Rosita. Now this little spider here is actually from Chile. It's called a Chilean rose-haired tarantula.
Can you hold that up a little bit?
Yeah, just tell me
There
where
you
I need
go.
to go because I'm not sure
is
where
it
the
on
cameras
camera?
are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is, like I said, a Chilean rose-haired tarantula, sometimes called a Chilean beautiful spider.
That camera looking right at your face.
Awesome.
It's looking right at your face.
Right here.
there?
Right here.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the one.
All right, that might be a good one right there. So a lot of people are fearful of spiders. All spiders are venomous, even tarantulas. Now they're not deadly to people, but this one's really deadly to crickets, grasshoppers, spiders, and scorpions. So that's what they're
What
good
about
for.
snakes?
Now, snakes will sometimes eat these, not very often. Around here, we have a Texas brown tarantula here in Texas that actually is kind of cinnamon brown on the cephalothorax and dark black around it. This one's from Chile, but our Texas one is venomous as well. Not deadly to people, but does cause a lot of fears just because of how they move, I think, is what gets a lot of people with these 8 legs. Now, anybody want to help hold it? Because it's just a tickly animal. It's
Talk
not gonna
about the
hurt you.
risk involved. There's no risk involved.
The only risk that these guys present, and that's why I don't have kids pet these, they're not puppy dogs, but, like Brighton would probably love to pet this,
she
right?
would.
But if you touch these hairs on the abdomen here, they actually cause irritation, and they kick those off to kind of get the animals to move away and leave them alone. So holding it's not a problem, but petting it would be a little bit of a difficulty and give us some irritation. But holding it, we can do that. You want to try it?
I'll try it. Will you
All right.
come close?
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodness.
How many?
If Jenny's going to try it, I'll try it.
Okay.
Come over this way. Hopefully they can still hear me.
See,
All right, Jenny, we're just going to sit
the deal
right
is,
here.
The deal is going to be that I'm going to be.
you go.
Oh my! She's got
doing
it.
it.
Go look at this
Yeah,
video.
how about that?
She's insane.
There's like a lot of heavy breathing on that
Yeah,
episode.
and that's
this
it.
week.
Just keep breathing. That's all we want you
I
to
kind
do.
of want to get
Let's see a lot of
I'm kind of
closed
want to do a
eyes.
selfie with it.
Yeah, that's called a Spidey.
A Spidey.
Yeah, instead of a selfie. But yeah, so they just tickle. They're very, very good. When I'm out with shows and with kids, like we just had National Night Out, we had this on several kids' heads in the neighborhood, so
Oh
they
my
got
gosh.
pictures with it. So
Do you have any big shows coming up? In
absolutely, yeah, coming
Dallas-Fort
up.
Worth area?
Yeah, we certainly do. So coming up on the 11th, we're actually going to be at Valley Ranch Homeowners Association. They're having a fright flick, so we're going to be doing a live animal interaction station before the show.
That'll be
at
the
6
day
p.m.
that the episode comes out, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
today.
So get on that quick.
And then on the 13th, we do a quarterly segment on Channel 8's Daybreak. It's called Let's Go Wild, so we should be on there in the morning. And then I think on the 18th, we have an event at Treehouse Academy in Corinth doing their fall festival. And then on the 19th, we'll be in Whitesboro for their fall festival. So you can find all that information out at Wildlife on the Move on Facebook. We'll have those dates posted.
And is this something that people could hire for birthday parties and stuff too?
Yeah, we go.
Gotta do this
what
for
we
a
call
birthday
those?
party.
No, we're not doing this
Yeah,
for a
I'd
birthday.
love to come to your house and do it. We call them wild birthdays,
Yeah.
and we actually do come out and do birthday parties with 5 to 7 animals. The birthday child or the birthday person is always our assistant, so they get to handle every animal that we have, and then all the guests get to actually handle one last animal at the end and get their picture taken with it. Usually a snake. So
Oh,
Heath,
yeah.
you'd probably be out on that,
Yep,
but
absolutely.
maybe you can support everybody by cheering them on at least.
Okay, Zach, do
Do
you
you
want to
mind?
hold
Can I?
it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Is this a fear
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a big
All right,
big
here we go,
spider
Zach.
fan.
Yeah, it just tickles, right?
Okay.
That's what that,
Okay.
Now, what
All right.
Jenny and Zach are
Oh,
feeling,
God.
they actually have claws on the ends of their feet, so they're holding
Yeah,
on with
that's
that, and you can
awful.
kind of feel
It's
it's
gonna
kind of like
claw you.
Velcro.
I mean, yeah, sure. This is great. This is good.
You're doing
Oh my
good.
gosh.
Yeah, sweaty
still
palms aren't a
breathing.
problem, right? This is fine.
I do like
I'm fine with this.
the
Awesome.
message, though, Eric, that you said getting over fears
Okay.
is about just having more knowledge. Usually we're scared of things that we don't know.
Absolutely.
There's some fears I don't care to get over, and one of them's a snake.
Well,
And
I
that's
know.
okay.
I'm just trying to for people who are interested in having a growth mindset, Heath.
Yeah.
Well,
And you definitely want to do that because, I've had fears. One of my biggest fears is car accidents.
Yeah.
Now, so what do I do to get over that? Well, I try to drive safe. I watch out for things. I'm a little bit more proactive when I'm driving, but that's my biggest fear. I'm not afraid of animals. I've been around them my whole life. But I know that there are people that are in that position, and so I want to try to dispel the myths and get them over those fears because we really don't need to fear the animals. Respect them.
Yeah,
Definitely don't want to be around venomous things with our kids and all that, but we want them to know what they look like and how to act and react. So, yeah, we do shows at birthday parties, festivals, churches, scout groups, schools. Right now, we're running a discount special called our Slithering Out of Summer and Bouncing Back to School 15% off discount. So, you schools and organizations out there, find us there on Facebook at Wildlife on the Move or wildlifeonthemove.com. You can take advantage of that 15% discount by October 31st. Book a show before then.
okay, Zach, what did you think when you had the creepy crawl?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely not a spider guy. That's
Chilean.
very valid.
Do we have enough time for a mammal?
What did you bring?
Well, another mammal that freaks a
I
lot
have
of people
all
out.
the time.
We
in the
have,
whole
like-
wide
Let's
world
see it.
right now.
We still
I've
got- yeah,
no
we-
So
idea.
give me a minute. I'm going to have to scooch
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the side.
Yeah.
So I know it's not always best for video
yeah.
as I duck down under a table,
Yeah.
but let me try this.
All right,
So,
so
snakes is. I saw that coming in the room, and I said, "Nah."
He
I
literally
I
popped out
recognized
of
him.
his chair
I
'cause he-
recognized him, and I said, "Nah."
oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you guys,
it was
what
funny
is
when
this?
Jenny and I were on the air back at Fox. He actually sent a text saying, "No way, you're not coming home. You
Yeah.
better take a shower." So I know the fear's there, but I'm
python
hoping
around her
at
neck.
least you're in the room with them, Heath, and I'm giving you
Yeah,
kudos
yeah.
for that. And you'll get a badge of courage before I go. I
Oh,
promise.
look at that. You
All
got a
right, so-
badge.
it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So
my
this
gosh.
is Rufus. This is a Texas native mammal. Let me pull him out.
Oh no, you guys,
I
what
don't
is
know what
this?
this is.
No, Jenny,
What?
you love possums.
Oh,
it's a
golly.
possum. We
All
have a
right, so here's
possum
Rufus.
in
Yeah. Now
the
you didn't think this
studio.
was a Texas-sized rat, did you?
No.
Yeah, a lot of people think so, but this is an opossum. Now we Texans, me, and Heath, Heath and I have that kind of accent of Texas, right? So we like to shave off
Yeah.
our words and say possum, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the true possums come from Australia. This is an opossum. What's really cool is they're not related to rats and mice at all. They're actually related to kangaroos, wallabies, wombats, and koalas.
He's actually
So is
pretty
this a
cute.
baby or something?
He's
Because
actually 2 years
they're
old.
really mean.
Yeah.
He's
In the
cute.
wild, what they do is this animal has more teeth than any other land mammal in the United States. More than a
Awesome.
coyote, more than a bobcat, more than a mountain lion. They have 50 teeth.
Wow.
So yeah, when you see them out in the wild, they're going to hiss at you and scare you away, right? And they use those teeth to eat fruits, nuts, berries, plants, snakes, eggs, insects. Now, one thing that's beneficial, even though people fear these guys, they're immune to most diseases. They don't get rabies and things like that.
Really?
They actually kill ticks. So they're helping us out with Lyme disease. They'll eat thousands of ticks in a year. Now he's wearing
It
his
is a cute little
second
face,
shot
though. I'm
red
not
here
allowed
trying to
to-
get into it.
Yeah.
Put that face to that camera because that is one of the
Yeah,
cutest
is
little
he
ones.
on
Right here,
camera?
yeah.
Is he on camera?
That's
Yes,
such
yeah.
a cute little face. I never thought I'd say a possum's cute.
Yeah, well, this guy's pretty pampered. He lives in captivity. He was raised by people because his mom, unfortunately, was hit by a car.
Oh.
And so now we have him, and Texas Parks and Wildlife has a permit with us so that we can have these guys for educational purposes and get people over their fears and dispel those myths about them.
Oh my gosh.
We have at the new house that we're building.
Yeah.
We have a camera up, and every single night, 3 times a night, to a T, a possum walks right by the camera and triggers off the camera about midnight every night. So that
Yeah.
possum goes back and
So
forth.
he's
on
got
it.
a routine
Yeah,
and a
he
pattern.
definitely has a
He's
routine.
probably got some cat food or dog food in your neighbor's yard. That's the free buffet that he's visiting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
okay.
any other questions
well,
about
Eric,
these guys?
No, but thank you so much.
so welcome.
Your website is
Yeah, wildlifeonthemove.com, or follow us, please, at Facebook at Wildlife on the Move. And that's where we have a lot of our dates for our upcoming events. And again, just encourage you guys out there, if you want to have a wild good time, just find us, and you can take advantage of that discount right now if you book something by October
Well,
31st for the whole year.
this was really fun.
This was a good
and-
surprise.
Do you
Well,
like it,
I
babe?
hope so.
Yeah, well, I mean, snakes are not always fun surprises.
So let us know, you guys, on the Second Shot Podcast Instagram, what is your biggest fear? If you tell me, I promise not to show up at your house and make you face that fear immediately. But I do like the lesson that we learned from Eric, which is oftentimes getting over your fears relates to lack of knowledge. And the more we can learn about that fear, the more that we can be educated. So thank you, Eric, for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
If you love all of the animal stuff, then Wildlife on the Move is where you need to go. And like you said, and get in on some of the specials he's got going right now.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Everybody, let's give our shout outs. Our end of the show came out kind of crazy, but I'm glad that it worked out. We have been hatching this plan for a while for Eric to come on and, take us into the Halloween Face Your Fears season.
You got it.
At Heathos, Ignorance on Fire on all the social media platforms.
At AppleZacintosh on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook.com/group/Second Shot. What is your fear? Would you have a spider or a snake or anything walking on you? It was great. Yeah.
Safe in the studio, Matt Stoker 1.
Yes, yeah, Matt Stoker 1 on Instagram. You'll also find me on the Second Shot Facebook group, posting the new episode each week. My biggest fear is heights, so I'll be podcasting from a ladder next week. Look for that. And yeah, keep up with us on the group. Leave a comment and like the post.
Don't forget, you guys, Second Shot sit-downs launch on October 15th. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to happen. It's hopefully going to be valuable for you. Thank you, Eric Brittingham, for coming in
You're so welcome. Thanks for
helping us all to face some fears today. And we'll see you guys
next
time.
From them.
Yeah, or run from them.
See ya.